Welcome, champions, to the next overview and tier list ranking, featuring the newest champion or reworked champion for the current event active in Idle Champions. And take a quick second to look at my cat while I remind you that I stream on Twitch and will be doing so the same day at the same time I uploaded this video, so drop in and say hi. We have already talked about the new champion. That means that leaves us with the reworked champion. This time around, that means it's Krond, the chaotic evil half-orc fighter in Seat 6, serving your group as a DPS and now with the inclusion of being a support. He used to be exclusively DPS and was a semi-popular one as well. To start out, let's take a look at his primary attack, War Magic, where Krond leaps out and attacks the frontmost target with his bonded Warhammer. If you have a cantrip feat equipped, he then casts the given cantrip. So that means his previous cantrips have now been moved to his feats, but always keep in mind he can only have one cantrip equipped from those feats at a time. If you try to equip another one, it will just replace the current one. His ultimate ability will have him throw down his Warhammer and leap up into the air, teleporting to a random enemy and causing massive area damage by slamming down to the ground and casting Shatter when he appears. Now back to his cantrips, he does have the passive of Cantrip Feats. The only reason to bring them up again is they work slightly different than normal feats, where once you get higher versions, they simply replace the lesser versions. Now let's talk about his formation abilities, where we're gonna see a lot of things the same but also different than he used to be. For one, his ability used to include Evil and Strength 16 champions. Now those have been kind of split apart. To start, he has Unsung Alliance, where Krond increases the damage of all champions for each evil champion in the formation, stacking multiplicatively, and this does scale via pre-stack with the equipment for it. There is also something I need to note here, in that he can change his alignment with a feat earned through his event rewards, turning him Lawful Good, the antithesis of Chaotic Evil, and in doing so also makes him scale with good champions instead of evil, but it works the same way other than that. I'd also like to note here in this video, I usually don't do the event variants for the champion I'm covering, but I did this time so I could use that feat. Then he also has Best of the Best, where Krond will increase the effect of Unsung Alliance for a smaller amount for each point of either Intelligence, Strength, or Con, depending on the specialization choice, over 16 on every champion in the formation, stacking multiplicatively. That might have been slightly confusing, so let's dive right into his specialization options to further explain that. He has two different specialization choices. So the first, there is Survival of the Strongest, where Krond will increase the effect of Unsung Alliance for each champion in the formation with a strength score of 16 or higher, stacking multiplicatively. Now this is its own ability as well aside from Best of the Best, and it is scaling with the pre-stack from the equipment for the first set of specializations. So this pick will not only affect Best of the Best, but will be very important for what ability score you're looking your formation to have to further boost his pre-stack pre-stackatively. By choosing Survival of the Strongest, you are making Best of the Best strength. Then there is Survival of the Fittest, where Krond increases the effect of Unsung Alliance for each champion in the formation with a con score of 16 or higher. And if you caught on, this will make Best of the Best Constitution. Then there is Survival of the Smartest, where Krond increases the effect of Unsung Alliance for each champion in the formation with an Intelligence score of 16 or higher, and again, this will turn Best of the Best into Intelligence instead. So essentially all you're picking here is the most populated in your pushing formation. The second set of specializations are various options to increase his damage and or utility. With Eldritch Strike, Krond gains the debuff roll, and enemies damaged by Krond take additional damage from all of his subsequent attacks, including his cantrip spells. Then he has Power Behind the Throne, where Krond increases the effect of Unsung Alliance when he is not the formation's bud-setting champion, leaning into his support role. And lastly, he has War Magic, where Krond's cantrip feat now deals damage equal to 5 seconds of bud-based damage for each 100% of Krond's base damage that they normally deal. This will actually stack up to a very high bud hit. Now what about his equipment and feats? His equipment is overall good. As I said, there are 2 pre-stack buffs here. First, he has a global DPS buff. Second, he has the Unsung Alliance buff, which is a pre-stack. Then he has a Best of the Best buff. Then he has one for his first set of Specializations, and this is the second pre-stack, which will further boost Unsung Alliance, a pre-stack on a pre-stack. Then he has one for his second set of Specializations and Ultimate Attack cooldown. This does help round out his kit and allows him to scale his buffing quite high. His feats again are interesting, as we're seeing a unique mechanic via his cantrips. And beyond equipping a cantrip, you want to look for anything that's a pre-stack buff typically. So Unsung Alliance, or his first set of Specialization picks. His achievement is very simple, requiring 100 kills with each of his cantrips. This is particularly easy if you take a specialization that makes him deal bud damage. And his variants are victims of not being updated, so they are all very simple, allowing you to use anyone, all with effects that really shouldn't slow you down, so you should be able to pummel right through them. So what about his availability? Well, we didn't get any new feats or them shuffling around his ability scores at all. So we're looking about the same as far as his availability goes, other than the fact he is now available for Elminster. So we're still looking at his low charisma, and the fact he's locked out of Zariel, and the day 1 trials restriction of charisma. Overall, that's still decent, but I still can't hard recommend him as a DPS because he's locked out of that day 1 trial. And ultimately, looking at him as a whole now, he's one of those that's really good when you look at him at first and then you realize he slacks just a little bit. And that all comes down to his restrictions. Before, the way he worked was he stacked with evil and/or strength people, so you could choose one or the other. Now he scales with evil people and strength people, or constitution or intelligence, and you need to combine them. So you're looking for an entire alignment, whether that be evil or good with his feat, and then people that match the ability scores as well, which severely limits how he can scale those pre-stacks. It will be very difficult, if not impossible, to have a full 10 out of 10 Unsung Heroes and a full 10 out of 10 survival of the whatever you picked. He still is a good buffer regardless, even if you can't reach those caps, but again, with a pre-stack, your goal is to get the absolute maximum you can out of it. And as the game is right now, there is no way to get a 10 out of 10 for whatever survival pick you make while having evil champions. You cannot get 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And if you go the good route, there is only one option that can give 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and that is using the good feat while picking survival of the smartest. But this is by no means an ideal formation. Well, then there is also Dynahair shenanigans to make people who do not naturally count for 16 Constitution be able to by being adjacent to her with her first specialization. This does open it a little bit, but you're still gonna have to lean into good and Constitution, and that's still limited, but there's better options there. So he does have a really big setback. Overall, you're probably going to want to focus on the alignment being 10 out of 10 and then getting as much as you can out of the ability scores. Now, with all of that considered, what about his new ranking? Funnily enough, he's actually just going to creep ahead of Warduke. He still has pre-stacks, and they're actually decent, but they're restrictive to work around. But he's kind of in the same situation he was as a DPS, while also being a support, but his support is right in that category as well. So, yay! Thanks for stopping in and checking this video out. Be sure to leave a like, hit the sub, hit the bell, you know the spiel. Come say hi on my Twitch or join my Tyredack community Discord. And at the end of the day, you know how it is. Have a hell of a time out there, champion.